Football. Fantasy. Football. Fantasy. Football. Fantasy. Football. Fantasy.
All right, so welcome to another edition of Fullbuddy Fantasy Football with Craig and Corey Bentley.
Hello.
Hey. That's okay. Yeah, if you're getting scared, why don't you go inside and play on the iPad, okay? Or why don't you watch TV, watch babies? Or ride your bike. Okay, let's see how long you can be quiet. On your mark, get set, go. Okay, good job. All right, so we got Craig and Corey. I think that's our intro from now on. It's just
awesome.
We say something and then my daughter then just kicks right in too. Welcome. Hey, so we released a few of the episodes. You guys feeling a little bit? Have you guys had a speaker's remorse yet? Have you had anything where you're like, ooh, I wish we go back and delete that?
I never say anything out of my mouth that I don't mean.
Even if he did, he wouldn't tell
You just have stuff that goes into your mouth that you don't want, right? Is that no, like eating or something? No, yeah, okay, all right, guys, all right, you guys are ridiculous.
So mature.
Yeah.
So we usually start this fantasy football. We talk about your guys' league and talk about fantasy football in general. But we usually warm up first. So with a quick warm up. We talk about all sorts of things, other sports, this or that. You guys watching the NBA Finals at all?
I'm not.
I watched part of it. I watched like the third quarter, I think, and then I stopped watching it.
And now there's a poll, Twitter, this and that, poll on Twitter where it said that for the past since 2015 or somewhere like that, have you been more interested, less interested, or about the same in the NBA? And the majority was 63% was less interested. Would you say that you're about the same way with that? Were you guys ever into NBA? And if you were, what years was it? And you guys don't have home. I mean, right now you guys aren't Seahawks. You guys Colts and the what are you? Eagles. So do you guys have?
They're forgettable. It's okay.
Did you guys have any other? Who was your team when you were watching it? Okay. I said a lot there. I'm going to back out now.
Well, I mean, when I was a kid, I liked watching the NBA. I mean, I watched the Bulls. I mean, I was, everybody, Jordan. I watched that. I've never been a big NBA guy. I am a huge college basketball guy. I mean, I'm all about March Madness.
Okay.
I mean, 10, 12 years in a row, I'm taking the first 2 days off. I mean, that's me. I'm huge into that, but I've never really got that passionate about the NBA. As far as this season or last 5 years, it's probably about the same for me. I was never really into it. I like catching a game every once in a while. Highlights I'll watch.
Yeah.
But it's been, I don't know how long since I've sat and watched quarter 1 through quarter 4. I mean, it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think it's probably about the same for me. I'll catch a game every now and then usually come playoff time, I'll watch maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
But it's not any different than it was before. And the only time I was really into it was back still when I would try to watch Nash games. That's about it. Even when he went to the Suns, if he was in the playoffs, I made sure I watched those games. But
so you're going to watch NBA next year now?
Of course, he's coaching the Nets now. I'm going to be a Nets fan.
Are you all in?
It's Steve Nash. Why not?
Okay, Jacqueline. Thank you. Jacqueline, who's your favorite basketball team? Okay. For me, yeah, as you can tell from the wall, Sonics. Yeah, that's a noise. Yeah, it's a big noise. Yeah, okay, go outside and play, okay? Or be quiet. Okay? Yeah, so I don't know. Sonics, always been the Sonics. And then when I will be honest, I cried when Gary Payton, I was a grown ass man. I was 22 maybe when Peyton got, maybe I was a little younger than that, but anyway, yeah, when Peyton left the Sonics, I was crying. I cried. Now I wasn't bawling, but I just teared up.
Knowing Gary Payton, what do you think he would have said to you about that?
He probably gnashed his gum at me a little bit and started talking a little at me, and I'd probably cry more. But yeah, Sean Kemp. I loved Kemp. I had the Kemp haircut back when I had hair. I don't know if you guys ever did the same thing. Did you ever get the way he had like almost like the bike ramp coming up the top of his head? Did you guys do anything like that?
I did not.
No. All right. I guess that was just me.
My old man's a Marine. We couldn't do stuff like that.
It was kind of a hairy haircut.
No, high and tight. That's all it is.
If our hair was too long, we were hippies, and it was cut.
Really? Would he even call you guys hippies and say all that stuff? I kind of want to hang out with your dad a little bit.
To this day,
if
my hair
him in
got too long, he's been like, "Your hair's a little long, hippie."
Really? Is he a very straight-laced man, or is he just joking when he says like that, stuff like that?
Both.
Oh, okay.
I think it's became a little bit more joking as he's gotten older.
Okay.
I mean, he meant it, but
and I can cut this out, but I'm going to ask you, Corey. Now, I think your wife, her name is like flowers and like what's like the wildflower or
the name she uses when she does her wedding.
Yeah. What's it called?
Peace and Love Florida.
Peace and Love.
Yeah.
Peace and Love. You hear Peace and Love, you think a little bit of a hippie-ish. Do they get together and just talk politics and sit down at the dinner table?
I don't think she's talked politics with anybody, but my dad is super protective of both of our wives. So
good.
I mean,
good.
if we said anything or did anything, he would come at us.
You guys. Yeah, that's kind of how my dad is too. My dad's kind of like the guy is like I'm like, whoa, I'm your son. Yeah. Well, better watch it, kind of a thing. All right. Well, and then have you had to get roped into any of that flower making that your wife does?
When we actually ran it as a business, I did all the numbers and did the books and stuff.
But you weren't sitting there late at night just...
Only a couple times I would help her. Like when Jared got married, I helped with his flowers and stuff in the garage. But for the most part, I never...
Were you in his wedding?
Yeah.
Were you in his wedding?
I was there.
Oh, touchy subject. I was at... Were you ever invited to a bachelor party, but never invited to the wedding?
I've never been there.
I don't think so. Not that I can remember.
That happened to me once. Very awkward. Like, hey, you come to the bachelor party? I'm like, yeah. When are you getting married? Oh, I'm getting married in like 3 weeks. Oh, I must have not got the invite. Yeah, you didn't have enough time or room. I'm like, so I'm going to your bachelor party, but not your wedding?
We want your personality on this night, but not on this night.
That's kind of what I read into that.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, you're fun. You're fun. Hey, you. Do you guys remember your groomsmen right off the top of your head?
I do.
Do you?
I had a lot of people in my wedding, but I think so.
How old were you? Wait, what year did you get married?
2001.
2006.
I think I got married in 2002. No, 2001. No, wait, 2002, 2003. I don't know. But
if I go through it, I can remember.
How many people were in your? Like, did you treat it like homecoming, like royalty court?
So,
like, you just have everyone.
She had a lot of people she wanted.
Oh, so you needed to match that.
I had to match it. So I matched the guys, and then she wanted 4 women. And then so I had 4 extra ushers.
And they all had to rent tuxes.
And they all rented tuxes, and they all had to do everything. Yeah.
Wow.
But like it was the normal people that you know. It was like Jason and Garrett and Jared, Craig, Kyle, Michael, and then her sister was married at the time, and so he was in it because I was in theirs, type of thing. So I don't think, did I forget anybody?
Hope not.
I don't think so.
But you?
Well, with me, Carrie has 3 sisters, so those were the first.
Boom, boom, boom,
boom, boom, boom,
yeah.
And then a sister-in-law.
Boom.
So that's where I went.
You were married 2001, 2006. Okay, keep going.
Yeah.
Right.
So my groomsmen were obviously Corey, and then
at 16.
Yeah, at 16.
Really?
And then Kyle, Nick, Tanner.
Yeah.
And then my brother-in-law Joel walked with his wife, which that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. Okay. Just wait a second, okay? Do you need help? Do you want to come over here and Corey can pull those out for you?
I'm a professional hairstylist.
Okay, well, we're not going to go over there. So go outside and play first, okay? Go watch babies. Well, then don't talk, okay? Thank you. All right, so yeah, for me, so my first marriage, we treated it like it was like a friggin' homecoming, royalty, or whatever, senior prom. So I had my uncles, except for two, but a few actually, but my Uncle Rob, the Dad How Do I guy, my Uncle Don, my Uncle Joe, my cousin Jason, my cousin Aaron, my cousin Craig, Mark Drummond, my brother, who's the best man, and I wasn't the best man at his wedding. Were you the best man at his wedding? At Craig's?
Oh, technically, I think I
was.
Yeah, he was.
Were you the
But
best?
I was still, like I said, I was 16, so I wasn't like.
Were you
He didn't get to plan.
I didn't
our
do
bachelor
anything,
party.
but I was like the best man of the wedding.
Were you the best man at his wedding?
Mhm.
I think I had Matt Bergerson. I had like 9. I had a ton, and I made everyone rent suits too, like a jerk.
And you got a free one because you got.
And it was like a $210. It was like back then. I was like 2003, $210 for
Ronald's.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so then, obviously, when I say first marriage, there's usually a second marriage. So my second marriage, won. Like it was just when you do your first wedding, you're having fun with it. I think there was even like reality shows back then of it. And when your second one, you're like, all right, let's just do this, get done with. So on your guys' second marriages, you probably
Well, my plan was.
Yeah.
No, I honestly it was so big. I don't even remember a lot of people that were there. Like I think we ended up having like 400 people.
holy cow!
And it was just like, if somebody came up to me right now and said, "Hey, I was at your wedding," I'd just be like, "All right, cool."
And you wouldn't know.
I wouldn't know if they were or not. There
Cool.
was so many people there.
Pound it.
Yeah. Because we both worked, for Safeway at the time, and she put
Right.
things up at her store, and I had things up at my store. We just kind of just let it was like, whatever. Whoever wants to show up, and people did.
Wow.
More because of her, because of me, but.
Wow. Now, is there anyone that was in their bridal party that they kind of like? Because that was a while ago, right? You've been married for how long?
We're going into 14. We're 14 years.
And you've been like,
Just 19.
is there any people that you don't really like just because people move away and things like that? Like you just don't have anymore?
That was in my groomsmen, the brother-in-law that was married. They're not married anymore, so I
Gotcha.
have nothing to do with him.
Right.
And there's a couple of the women that were in her party that she doesn't really like. She deals
Just
with, but she doesn't really talk to
Talk to
on a
them
regular
anymore.
basis.
I mean, people grow up. Everything changes. You guys? Same?
For me, we're actually. I mean, everybody that was there. I don't talk to Nick as much as I want to, but I
Right.
still do.
Yeah.
He's
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, but other than that, no, I think everybody that was.
Oh.
Even most of the people at my wedding, we still associate with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to remember, me being a little bit younger at the time, it was still right out of high school. So
Right,
it was
right.
that high school group
Well,
that was really at the wedding.
I think there was a wedding picture that I thought it was like, I thought it was like your senior prom picture or something like that. Like I was when I saw it, I was like, it's huge.
Yeah.
Tons of people. Was it at the golf course or where was it at?
We had it at, I don't know the name, but as you're heading out on 240, or take a left at 244th, like you're heading out to Auburn.
Yeah.
There's that church that sits up on the left in
Yeah.
the woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember the name of, or what it was at that time, but that's where it was
That's
at.
where it
That's
was
where
at?
we held it.
I remember the other person. It was Michael was in the wedding as one of my groomsmen, and he flew in because he was in the military.
That's right.
Wait, Michael.
Michael House.
House.
Oh, okay. I thought it was someone else.
And I flew back to his. He got married in Nebraska years later, and I flew back and was his. in his
So
wedding.
if you're friends of Craig and Corey, you're going to want to turn up and pay attention to this right now. Tomorrow, you guys are getting married. You have 5 spots. Who you giving them to?
Are you just looking to get one of the spots for both of us? That's what
No.
he's doing.
No, I mean, obviously, I'd be like your third pick. So, like, you don't have to choose me. Who you doing? Who you got? 5 spots. Can you guys answer this question?
I don't
Or
know
no?
if I haven't thought about it that way. I don't know.
I don't think I could. Like this puts people on the spot. They're like, oh crap. What if this person listens?
I know that Craig would be my best man.
Oh.
Corey would still be mine also.
Oh.
See that?
We can just end it right there. It's done.
There you go. It's done.
Just love in the room.
Yeah. My brother didn't have me as his best man, which is great. You know?
Who was his best man?
his buddy Ryan. And then
He sounds cool though.
yeah, he's a funny guy. He's a cool guy. But I just stole this show with I like, you know what, all I'm going to do right now is just destroy on the speech. and I crushed the speech.
Speeches are nerve wracking because I was 16 at his, so I didn't have to give a speech.
Hi guys,
Yeah.
I just got the tonic water and the beer loaded
At
up.
Michael's, I was his best man, and I had to give a speech, and I was like super nervous about doing it because I didn't know a lot of people down there.
Yeah.
So I just downed as many beers as I could before I had to do it, and then I just gave the speech.
Just throat swollen because they had wheat in it.
Yeah. I can't talk.
Oh, God, wow, this guy's crying.
He was such a nice guy.
He's got tears just streaming down his face.
I did pause and choke up in the middle. You got that effect to it, and people just ate it up.
They ate it up,
Yeah,
huh?
They loved it. It was a pretty good speech.
Did you fake it or did you really tear up?
I think I forgot where I was.
And people,
because I didn't write a speech out, I just did it from memory, and I forgot where I was, and so I paused, and then I kind of just went like, and then it got into effect, and they thought that's what I was doing. I just went with it though.
I like it.
Yeah.
This one time you guys remember going to the Tacoma Dome to watch I think it was your class. I think it was 99. Maybe it was 98. But our basketball team was amazing. And so at state finals, we would go, and I remember I had contacts the first time. And well, maybe not for the first time, but I had contacts, and I remember being in the stands about to watch the EHS Hornets play in a state tournament, and they were going to do the national anthem, which was to the left of me, and it was like almost directly above me. But I turned my head to go to the left, put my hand on my heart, and all of a sudden I feel like above me, like the air conditioning wind just hitting me in the face. And so I'm standing there, and I've got like no one around me. Everyone's looking past me to look at the flag. So I'm in everyone's eyesight, and my eyes are just drying out, and I'm just blinking and tearing up. And I looked like the most patriotic guy in my high school, just weeping. Yep, all right. We got a studio audience here today, by the way. I don't know if you guys mentioned that, but my daughter's here. Okay, have fun in the house. Love you. I don't know who it was. I think it's Mom. You should go check. I should have said that like 25 minutes ago.
Hopefully that's who it is. Just go find out who it is for me.
Someone's knocking. All right, so for fantasy football, now we can dive into the fantasy football. Unless we want to talk about some crying real quick, 1 minute each. Do you remember a time where you were crying and you didn't mean to, like that? Or maybe someone saw it, walked in on you, and you were just weeping and they were like, no, I got something in my eye.
You want to get dark and deep about this?
Has it happened?
I remember, God, what was that movie?
You were watching a movie?
Oh,
yeah, it was.
Gosh. Bambi?
Do you want to get serious about this?
Was it The Notebook?
Do you remember? Yeah, actually, I think it was. So, do you remember?
Okay, thank you.
Our grandma was going through Alzheimer's at the time, and we watched that movie, and it just happened without me even realizing it.
What movie?
The Notebook. Because
I've never watched it.
It has to do with Alzheimer's.
Oh, it does.
So since my grandma was going through it at the time, like I was sitting there watching it, and I think it just like hit me because of what was going on. And then I started having these like.
How old were you?
I don't know. How many years ago was that?
16?
No.
Was it
at
the
least
bachelor
10,
party?
At least 10.
Yeah, I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it was because of what was going on.
Yeah. It hit you.
It just hit, and I was like, I can't believe I'm crying because of this Notebook movie.
Jacqueline, I love you. So I'm talking about. I'm sorry.
Who
guys.
was in the house? I want to know who was there.
Who was in the house? Did you check upstairs? Did you check the closet? All closets, bathroom, and showers, like behind nooks and crannies. So give a thorough look, real quick.
There's no crane flies in the house.
Okay.
She's probably playing hide and seek.
She might be playing hide and seek. You should go look.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We just learned that she's outsmarted Craig right there.
Yeah. No more talking, okay? We got to record, all right? No more talking. Thank you. Craig, when was the last time you cried?
I don't know. I'm not I guess I should be more emotional. I'm sure I've cried.
Last time I told him that I loved him, he cried. Just tears falling.
Did that happen?
No. I'm sure I've cried over things. I can't remember off the top of my head. I mean, if we want to talk about movies, we want to throw a movie out that I cried at?
Yeah.
Well,
Can I guess
Yeah.
it? Can I try to guess it?
You can guess it because I might have
Rounders?
told you.
Okay, I'm gonna guess it was Rudy.
Close.
Hoosiers.
No. So, and this isn't a joke. I'm being dead serious, okay?
Space
The
Jam.
first time I saw My Girl
Oh,
Oh.
and the Bees.
Yeah.
That got me. I mean, I was a little bit younger, obviously,
Yeah.
but it got me.
Because you wore glasses and you thought it could be you.
I did. I was scared after that.
That's me on the screen.
I refused to go in the woods after that.
Bees are gonna get me.
Dude, real quick. So for me, other than the time I cried at the national anthem, karaoke, my freaking family loves it. They love it. My dad bought like a karaoke that and tied it into the TV screen. Jacqueline, out of here now. Go. Then no more talking. No more humming. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So I'm going to do so much editing here. And this is right before this song that I'm about to talk about. so all right. So anyway, my parents love karaoke. They had all the songs. This is you guys gonna make you laugh after what I just did. Had to chew out my daughter for talking during recording, but Cats in the Cradle. So so I didn't even know about it. I just remember hearing the song and okay, I know this song. Like my parents, I knew New Kids and MC Hammer. They didn't have that stuff. They had the stuff from the 70s and the maybe early 80s. And so I maybe knew something like I don't even know, not much. Horse with No Name, stuff like that. Like you heard maybe a couple times. Oh, I think I could do this. So I see one, Cats in the Cradle. Oh, I've heard that song. So I start singing it. And my family's large. It's not just two couples. It's I've got 5 uncles and 3 aunts and got all the cousins there.
Everybody that ended up in your wedding.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah, you got it. You've been listening. So I'm like, cats in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting through it now. And then, just the other day, it's talking about how the guy has his son who just wants to hang out until the football. And he's just like, hey, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. And I'm like, and at the time I'm realizing it, I'm like, my dad would always throw the football with me. I would just start crying. And I realized I didn't make it to the song. I full on just big crocodile tears. Just trying to get through. Finally, my aunt runs up, grabs a microphone. She finishes the song. I'm just freaking Charlie Brown, head down, walking off the stage. And his dad's the greatest guy in the world. Oh, man. So then fast forward freaking 20 years and I'm over here, stop talking during recording. We'll get together another time, not right now, kid. I don't know when, but we'll have a good time then.
I hope we go to karaoke together and that's a reflex that happens every time so we can make you sing that song to see if it happens again.
Dude, I will cry. But what I do now at karaoke, especially at the Maui Room, it is hanging tough all the time. I will go right side, left side. Have you been there for the hanging tough yet?
I may have been. I don't know. I've been there singing karaoke
times.
a lot.
Few times.
Yeah.
We had many nights there of Craig singing songs he shouldn't be singing.
That's every song.
That's true, but there were some songs that I was like, ugh.
We do a pretty sweet duet on
do.
songs we shouldn't sing.
Yeah.
Do you guys sing any inappropriate songs as a duet?
No.
On accident?
Usually the go-to is the Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah.
Oh, as a duet.
we duet together.
Marilyn Manson usually when we duet that together too. All right, let's talk fantasy football. You guys ready to talk some fantasy football?
Sure.
We guys don't know probably what we're going to talk about for fantasy football.
It doesn't matter. It's about fantasy football,
It's
right?
about fantasy football.
Anything with football, I'm good.
Anything with fantasy football. Okay, so you might be halfway through the season right now. We're heading into week 5. We just got past week 4. So now we start hitting bye weeks. Okay. And so now as the bye weeks, especially with COVID hitting, what is your guys' mindset on what you're going to do when it comes to bye weeks. Have you already kind of pre-planned week 3, week 4, picked up maybe someone from the waiver wire thinking someone's coming? What do you guys usually do when it comes to your guys' strategies?
Well, for me, I don't pay a whole lot of attention when I draft. So I get to a point where if I have too many players, I got to figure it out on the fly. And for the most part, it works. But usually after the first couple bye weeks, then I start kind of doing a little bit more of a strategy. But for this first bye week coming up, I honestly couldn't tell you who I have on the bye right now.
So
bold strategy.
Yes.
So you're telling me that sometimes in the past you've like woken up on Tuesday morning, set your lineup, you're like, oh crap, both quarterbacks are on a bye right now.
I will say I have did that before, yes.
Time to pick up a third.
I do the opposite, and I try to have it set up in advance so I don't have to worry about it. I just try not to draft that many guys. I don't want 5 or 6 guys on the same bye week.
So
if you don't do that, you'll be fine.
I used to pay attention to that, but you're the one that would pay attention to the big 9 next to the guy's head. If
I've drafted, like you're deeper into your draft and I've already drafted 3 or 4 receivers, then I'll start paying attention to the bye week when I draft the next couple of receivers, so I know I have somebody. Granted, you might end up dropping some of those guys and picking stuff up as you go, but I just pay attention anyway, so it's all set up.
So as you guys draft, do you guys handcuff the running backs?
The certain running backs I do, but a lot of times I don't pay attention unless it's certain guys.
I can't, or I do, or would, if I think that second running back is going to be drafted at some point, you know what I mean, in the draft. Right. If I think that I can go pick him up on waivers after the fact, I won't.
Like Pollard, I did a lot. If I had Elliott,
I
would have drafted Pollard and then made sure I handcuff him.
But
Madison for
Cook,
like,
and then
certain ones,
sometimes Penny for Carson, and
it would depend on your draft and who you else.
Murray, there'd be a time where you were taking or not Murray, Kamara, and then Ingram.
Ingram or Murray.
Or Murray, too, yeah.
Which some of those guys like that, you could start outright anyway with the other guy being there, too. Like,
true.
On some weeks.
Like Kareem Hunt right now with Nick Chubb. It's like you're going to get more points from Nick Chubb, but you are going to get some decent looks and points from Kareem Hunt right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Especially a team or when the Browns have to pass, you may end up getting more from Hunt than you do Chubb.
So heading into the bye week, like at what point do you release them? Because at some point you kind of got like, crap. I got to drop a guy so I can pick up a guy for this bye week, possibly. Or like, are you by week 4, week 5? Like, okay, I'm gonna ride. I've got to drop this backup, this handcuff now, or do you hang on to that handcuff for a while?
If you don't have to, I'd try to hang on as long as you can. Like, I'm holding on to Pollard in the one league as much as I can, just in case something happens to Zeke, and he can step in and basically, he's not going to be Zeke, but I have a starting running back then. I don't want to have to drop if you don't have to.
Again, for me, it's I try to go with who I'm playing in the league. If I think somebody's going to go pick them up, that's the way I kind of do waivers and I do everything is. Who can I drop that may be there next week if I need to pick back up?
Yeah.
So I tend to try to not drop guys that I think as soon as I drop them, somebody may go pick them up a day or two later. And I just do that in general. I would especially do that on a handcuff or a
And what backup. I do is I watch who Craig drops and then I go pick them up because I know it's going to piss him off.
Especially if he's playing on a Monday night.
Yeah. Especially to make sure he can't have all Monday night guys. He has to have somebody on Sunday to piss him off.
For me, when it comes to this is the weird thing about my strategy when I do things. A lot of people will do like I want to have a bunch of wide receivers. I want to have like 2 tight ends. I have to have 2 defenses. And it's just kind of how I am. I don't know why, but I have to have a defense where I'm going to be my go-to. And then I usually will not go through who's the Jets playing this week? I will just say, okay, I got the Rams and I got the Ravens. Who's got the easier game? And then I'll just interchange as we go. Do you guys do that too? Or do you guys just stick with your defense and just roll with it? Or every week you do a waiver wire and pick up and drop?
For me, I typically have one defense, hopefully, or usually it's the defense I draft. And then I do the second defense, I do based on matchups. So I have a defense that in my head, I'm going to say I'm going to start this defense every week. But if they have a bad matchup, I will go...
Like Ravens and the Chiefs last week.
Yeah, if I would have had the Ravens, let's say, I probably would have went and found a better defense to play that week, picked them up, and then dropped them. So I do kind of pick up and drop, but I'm not starting a different defense every week if I have a solid defense.
So I 100% agree with that because that's exactly what I did because I have the Ravens defense. It's the only defense I hold, but I went and picked up the Chargers last week, which didn't work out anyway, but I didn't want to play the Ravens against the Chiefs. But for the most part, I keep one defense, and then I'll pick somebody up for their bye week, and then just matchup based. But I totally get when people stream defenses and try to chase them out. I just don't like doing it. I don't want to have to drop and continually do it, just in case one of those stream defenses turns into something, and then now somebody else is going to be able to get it. I'd rather just have my guy and know who I want.
I hope Mike Martinez is listening right now because he just said streamed defenses, and he was in our league for the first time last year, and one of our guys just like picked up the Ravens, or it was maybe the Patriots. I don't know. Some defense just went off, and he used the term because like we're talking about luck and what's luck and this and that, and he was defending himself. He was saying, "I stream my defense," and
that's a thing.
Well, yeah. Well, Mike was absolutely like laughing. Like Mike was texting us, "Ha ha 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 ha! I just streamed my defense. I just streamed my defense." Like, and he then eventually changed his team name to Streamed Defense because he thought it was completely ridiculous that he would say that he streamed his defense.
I mean, I don't do it, but there's a lot of people I know that do.
But that's actually okay. So here's the thing: that's an actual term.
No,
you can stream your defense.
You can stream anybody. Craig streamed quarterbacks in leagues before.
Yeah. So then, when it comes to fantasy football, do you believe that anyone could score 0 points in a game, and that same person could also score 42 points in a game?
Like on any given week? Is that what you're saying?
Any given week.
It's very, very hard to score 0 points.
It is.
I would be shocked with certain guys that could score 42 to score 0, but yes, I do think any given week something can happen.
So who's your guys' like, for me, it's Mike Evans. Mike Evans, you're either getting 3 points or 5 points out of, or you're getting 45 points out of. Like he's a boom or a bust. Who are your guys' like main guys that you've in the past you've drafted and you've thought, oh, this is a great pickup. This is great. This guy's good. Like maybe an Odell, maybe where you're just like, oh, but it's like you're gonna get great performances or just nothing from this person. Can you guys think of anyone who's kind of bit you in the butt?
Well, for me, at least in the past, and maybe a little bit this year, I don't have him this year, but Connor was like that for me.
James Conner?
Okay. When I had him the last 2 years, and obviously he got hurt.
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, he'd go off, and then the next week he would get like 35 yards and no receiving.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I do think that there's the capability of any position for the most part. Like Corey says, I think it'd be hard to have a quarterback getting 0, but
I mean, I've seen
negative.
Seen
we could have
negatives.
negative.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's, I guess.
Like, it amazes me last year with Winston on how horrible he did and then amazing at the same time.
Well, yeah, he threw like the most. I mean, he like
he still got fantasy relevance even being that bad.
Right.
That I don't know if I could have handled like your emotions during those games.
Right.
Like, yeah, oh shit. Yeah, oh shit.
Yeah, for me, Mike Evans. In fact, I don't know if I've heard. I know you've listened to the podcast enough to hear that we've said that the Maui Room, we refer to it is either a Mike Evans boom or bust night, or we refer to Mike Evans as a Maui Room boom or bust night, because the Maui Room at the Four Seasons, you're either walking in and there's 3 people there, or you're walking in and there's 45,
Yes.
50 people there, and you just don't know what you're walking into.
Yeah, remember that one night we went there with like 10 people? We were there by ourselves with the karaoke person. We had the karaoke to ourselves.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that more?
It was awesome.
We used to go there hoping that we'd control everything.
Yeah.
Because you're not waiting in line to sing.
She would order Modelo for us.
Yeah, they used to order like certain beers that they normally wouldn't carry there, knowing that we were going to be there like the next week.
Really?
We went there a lot back then. So
any of your guys' crew get kicked out? on the pink slip.
We had somebody that went to sleep in the actual restaurant after it closed.
Yeah.
I can guess who that person was.
He also is the same person that sang Prince and got everybody in the bar to leave and walk out.
I can guess now who that. Does it start with a K?
No.
Oh.
It starts with a J.
Okay. Okay.
Purple rain. Purple rain. And everybody just left and went outside.
All right, back to fantasy football. Do you guys have any provisions for COVID right now? I had to throw those switches on yesterday. What are your guys' provisions for your players' COVID?
Well, week 8 for us is the measuring stick. If we make it past week 8, our season counts.
Okay.
But we had that. We started that before the season. And then everything else is just as it goes. Like if a guy tests positive, we have 4 spots.
Yeah.
4.
That you can put a guy on that's tested positive, and you can go pick somebody up. And it doesn't count against your IR or your roster. And as it goes, we go.
Nice. For us, we did. We had to put on. I added an IR spot, so we have one that you can put an IR on, but you can put your COVID guys on IR. You cannot have. So since there's 2 IR spots now, those are for COVID. The second spot's for COVID. You can use your first spot for COVID too. So you can have 2 COVID players on IR. You can have 1 IR guy and a COVID player on IR. But you cannot have 2 IR guys because then you're just dumb at that point.
Yeah.
People just hold on to keepers and this and that. That's one of the things when you have IR, you're like, well, do I hold this guy's out for the season, but I got him at a good value in my draft? I'll hang on to him for next year kind of a thing.
In ours, we don't. So if your guy's out, in some leagues, they let you put him on IR, and we don't allow that. Like, he has to be on IR to put on IR, and we only have 1 spot.
Yeah, right.
And so we created, it's called a taxi squad. It's basically like the minor leagues that MFL lets you use, and that's what I made for the COVID spots.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just promote and demote guys when they have COVID. But I ran into that. I have Barkley. I can keep him again next year, so he's on my IR now, so I can keep him next year. Now, if anybody gets hurt that on my roster, I don't. You're kind of, for regular IR,
you got to drop him.
I can't put him on there,
right? Or not put him on IR, but
yeah.
Basically, you could have like 3. Well, you'd probably drop him at that point.
I would have to.
You'd have to.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever kept an IR person and kept them for the next year?
I haven't. I may end up this year, depending on if Rager comes back. He's on my IR right now for the Eagles.
Okay.
Rookie receiver.
Yeah.
This will be the first time now that Barkley's on there. Because I have 1 more year of control on him, so I'll keep him for next year.
Think COVID's going to be a thing next year?
By the time football starts again, I don't think it'd be as big a deal.
You think we're going to be wearing masks? Think they'd be full capacity in those stadiums?
I think they are.
What?
Next season.
What?
Full capacity.
You think full?
And you know what's going to be full capacity in 2021? Or 22?
22. The XFL?
The XFL is going to be full capacity in 2022.
Dude, Rock came out with it, yesterday or today, where he's like, we're going forward with it. We're gonna have a season and this and that.
If he puts more teams in it, we'll start a side XFL fantasy league.
I tried doing it.
So did I. Nobody would join.
Yeah. Well,
I joined.
Well, not only
I
that,
got like 3 people.
Well, who's the platform? Because I looked everywhere for a platform.
I found one custom platform.
Yes, that's what I saw too.
Custom sites, and I set it up through them, and I had it all set up to go with custom scoring. And I invited like 8 guys. I was going to do an 8-guy league.
Dude, I'm in on this.
And I got 3 people.
Me too.
And I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, me too.
Not too bad you guys didn't talk. That would have been 6.
And when I told everybody,
that would have been 6. I would have done a 6-man league at that point.
I would have too. My point to them was nobody knows most of these guys. Everybody's on the same level. Figure it out. Yeah. And some of these guys are NFL names from before. You'll probably overdraft them because they're just NFL names, but everybody's on the same page.
So, since you guys lived through COVID this year, let me ask you this. We had XFL going. It was right before March Madness. Right freaking before March Madness. Super Bowl, right? We already had that.
Mm-hmm.
Would you want to do that again? Or would you want COVID to hit in August and it wipes out the football season, the NFL season? What would you do? It postponed baseball. It postponed NBA. It really had no effect except for the draft for the NFL.
Which I was fine with the way the draft went, too.
Right. I mean, they're supposed to do it in Vegas. It would be on boats, this and that. But would you guys want to go through it the same? If 2021, would you want it the same time or the same way this year for next year? Or would you want everything to be later and you got to have all those early on things?
For me, I mean, I love March Madness. It's a huge deal for me. But giving up a weekend or 2 weekends for an entire season of NFL, I would do. It would be the same as this. And to be honest with you, a little bit because I'm home right now, I love watching Major League Playoff Baseball in the middle of the day. So yeah. I'm fine with it being later.
I would 100% do it the same way. And to be honest with you, my life didn't change at all, and so I wouldn't want to lose football because of it.
Right, exactly.
Like I had to go to work the same. Like nothing changed for me.
Yeah, you're
like it was. Yeah, I wouldn't change it. I would want football. The football was the one thing that saved me, like going to work and dealing with everything that I was dealing with, because everybody obviously had other stuff going on, but they were coming to the store, so I was dealing with this craziness, people coming to the store, and the one thing I had was talking about football and getting for football season and hoping for that got me through everything. So, yeah, I wouldn't change it.
Well, you're trying to redeem yourself since 2005 also.
Yeah, I got to work up to it.
Needling him. Hey, let's do a quick shout out, okay? I want to do some shout outs real quick. Shout out to Corey for putting together some off the hizzy logos for Fullbuddy Cast.
Yes.
He put together 4. 1 for Brouhaha, 1 for this one, and then 2 for Joey.
Yeah, I was going to let you choose.
Joey was stoked on it.
Nice.
Joey was absolutely stoked. He's like, oh, dude, we're going to, that's a shirt. That's a shirt. That's a shirt right now. It's a shirt.
I don't know if that one image was copyrighted when I took it.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, Corey's really good at this, but also there's a few images that he could probably just hover the blur thing on.
Yeah, I go and take stuff and make it my own. I don't pay attention to where it comes from. So it's all yours now. I don't care what you do with it.
I may have to figure out Photoshop and just the blur tool. That's all I got to do. It's just a few areas. Blur, blur, blur. But yeah, shout out to you. That was awesome, dude. I was thrilled with that. So shout out for that. Craig, you're great. Shout out to you. We shout out Brad.
We did. He actually, because not only did we shout him out, but
me and Sean,
you and Sean shouted him out before he heard the one that we did, and he called me up. He was stoked.
Was he?
He listened to it. He's
good.
Like, oh, I got my shout out.
Yeah, he did. Another shout out to Brad. We went to shout out Brad every friggin' week. All right, and then you guys got any shout outs?
I'll give a shout out to the BCFL, the rest of our fantasy guys.
Yeah,
sure that they love listening.
Here are secrets. We're giving you ammo.
Now, be honest. I'm sure my group listens and goes, who cares? Like, Travis, you haven't even won the championship in this league, right? Now, I haven't. I've won a championship in a few other leagues, but this one, I've gotten close. I can get into the playoffs, but then I get destroyed bad. Is anyone probably thinking the same? Is there 1 or 2 people that are probably listeners going, why in the world are these idiots on this thing?
Yeah, 1 or 2. I think there
Maybe
are other 8. Because I made sure, especially on the Sunday mornings that we're doing, that they all could listen to it if they needed some help. I offered it.
Very nice.
I said, hey, if you guys need some help, listen to this. And some of the responses...
We actually got a lot of downloads for that.
Some of the responses were, why are you doing this? You don't know what you're doing.
This is who do you think you are?
Exactly. But no, I think the group of guys are... And I mean, we would sit and talk like this with them like we're doing now. We just have this awesome platform to do this.
I mean, yeah, I think they would do it. And I honestly think if for some reason me or Craig couldn't do one day, one of them would come sit in and do it and bullshit with you and do it with the other one, do 3 people.
Well, bring them in next time. Maybe I got 4 ports. We could bring 1 more in. I got another microphone.
I guarantee Brandon would.
Would he?
Yeah. Well, he had his daughter.
That's right.
So, but other than that, yeah,
we have to go visit him. Bring just cut and
then
paste.
I have one shout out, and it comes with a story if we have time for it.
Go for it. Yeah.
A shout out.
I was 12 years old.
Jackson Z at my work. he downloaded and he's listening to the podcast.
What up,
And
Jackson?
he told me the story about his side hustle with football and baseball cards, and it kind of blew my mind. So you can't find football or baseball cards at any stores right now. Like if you go to the stores, they're not taking them.
Wait, can I pause you for a second?
Yeah.
Because I want to hear about this. For you guys out there, today there's a picture. I was on Twitter. Target put up this like printing all around that said we will only limit 2 packs per family per day.
Yeah.
Why?
So
Gum shortage.
what he told me, yeah,
Cardboard.
was that Joe Bazooka Joe gum?
Yeah.
So pre-COVID, this is going on.
Yeah.
So he would go and they'd buy like $20 those box cards, right?
Plastic wrap,
They would
shrink
buy
wrap.
them and he'd go through them and he'd find the cards that were worth the most money.
Yeah.
He has a guy in New York he would send them to, and the guy would grade them and get them graded as a 10, and he'd go sell them on eBay. And there's people out there buying these things on eBay for ridiculous amounts of money.
Right.
So he's got a ton of money into it. I won't give away how much money he's doing, but he's going to make
$4 million.
double back.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Yeah.
And so he's explaining to me that he was starting to go there, and he'd have a time where he knew the vendor was going there, and he'd show up like a hour later, and he'd buy as much as he could. And then some other guy figured out what he was doing and would show up like right as the vendor was there and would just take everything from him. And then the vendor started like meeting people in the parking lot and like making deals and shit with people. These are for trading cards.
Yeah.
And they're selling them for, and basketball cards are worth more, I guess, because it's a worldwide audience that watches basketball.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're selling, and that's so you couldn't go to any store and find cards anymore.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of especially after COVID hit and more people were home.
Yeah.
They were doing this and trying to sell them for money on eBay after getting them graded.
So here's the other thing about grading. Okay. This was I read another tweet where they were like, hey, we cannot meet the demands of the grading right now. We've even hired extra people. We can't do it. So as of now, we're stopping accepting anything further so we can get through the stuff we already got.
And they charge per value of the card, but I think the minimum is $12 a card. So if you're going to send in, you're sending in hundreds and hundreds of cards at one time to try to get them graded to make your money back. So you're paying a lot of money
Just for that.
just for the grading.
Dude, we should start our own grading service.
I told him we are going to start a multi-level marketing scheme where me and him get people under us to bring us their old cards.
Yeah.
And then we start finding in the old cards. And then I went and looked at my old cards, and I was like, these are no way these are getting graded a 10. They all have edges and shit.
Bad.
So that plan didn't go very well.
Right.
But yeah, it was crazy.
My kid has like all the original Pokemon cards. Like one of my friends, there's his son who's like 28. He's like, yeah, my son didn't want these anymore. And he goes, I found these. My son doesn't, obviously he's older. He's moved out. So he gave them to me. I have a full shoebox of like the original Pokemon cards, and there's a couple of them that are worth like $200.
I mean, I'll talk to my guy. Maybe he'll get them graded for you. You guys hook something up.
All right,
Sell them on eBay.
Yeah.
I don't know what the Pokemon rate is, but
I don't know. All I know is these things they're definitely not in mint condition, but they're also not tattered either. That Honus Wagner that went for like whatever. I mean,
so I also learned the difference. Like, so you get a 10 grade, it's worth money. If you get a grade like a 7 or 8, you might as well just sell it as nothing, because you can sell it a card on eBay worth more as nothing, because somebody can try to go get it graded thinking it's going to be worth more than selling it as a graded
so you just
7.
pop it right out of
pop it out of the case and try to sell it that way because it's worth more than somebody thinking they want to buy a 7.
That's genius.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a dating thing. So for those guys dating right now, and you think that a girl has graded you, maybe they have this. They have a site where they can grade men.
I remember back in high
Sure-
school they had.
sure
Remember
they did.
Hot or
hotornot.com?
It's better to delete your picture and just go out there. Dude, we should do our own hotornot.com
With cards?
with cards.
Hey, does my card look good? I can't afford to send it in to get it graded.
We should have a whole episode on cards. I could probably do that.
I'd be down.
Did you guys collect them?
So I was baseball.
I had football. I
I was basketball.
Oh, there you go.
Here's what we should do. We should all get our cards together, bring them in here, and I'll bring the guy
Yeah, and he'll grade
and he'll
them.
grade our card. He'll bring them and look.
Oh,
through
I
them.
like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your best ones and have him
But
take a look.
I found all my rookie cards, and that's what I was going to bring to him. But they literally all have little white marks on
Yeah.
the edges that you can see. And I was like, this is too. I like a Deion Sanders, a Barry Sanders, like all these rookie cards.
I'm sure you could still sell that.
Probably, but it's probably like $1 something on all these cool cards. I thought I had they're worth like $1.
Isn't
on
that
eBay.
funny? I remember getting the Beckett's out and just I
I found my old Beckett too.
I wish I kept the Beckett's. I feel the Beckett's would be worth more
It
right now
probably
than
would,
I have one Beckett, and I kept it because I was when I was a Niners
Yeah.
fan. It's Steve Young on the cover. And when
Oh,
I went through my football cards, I found my old Beckett, and I was like, "What is this?"
dude, I had the Beckett Bo Jackson, the black and white one where he had the shoulder
Pads on
pads
with
and-
the
the bat. I had that one. I had a couple. I had a Jordan one where tongue out doing his thing. Dude, there's a couple. I swear they'd be worth money right now. I should have kept those.
I want to say it was in '94, the Beckett year. It was a long.
Yours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I used to keep, because he, like you said, he kept baseball and I kept football, but I kept mine. I had the plastic sheets. And if you remember the Pro Set,
Yeah.
they had numbers, and then it corresponded. Like if you caught a card, it went to a certain spot of that Pro Set for that team. And I literally would sit there as a kid and put it in the spots.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
And it's worth nothing now.
Now it's nothing. All right, everyone. Well, if you guys can get through that, you can get through anything. You guys can get through that, you can get through anything.
I'd say don't edit it. Just let it go.
Just let it roll. Me screaming at my child and singing Cats in the Cradle. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. And hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, wherever. Message our whoever that we may know. Come see us at Cole Street. Shout out to Sean. Mazatlan. Shout out to Andy. Or Bordeaux Wines. Shout out to Robin and Kim and all those guys. Everyone, thanks so much. Take care.